Hey guys, welcome to the Trophy Life podcast. I'm your host, Tara Smith. From beauty to wellness, wife life, motherhood, and everything feminine in between, the Trophy Life podcast is a place where you can feel inspired and empowered and ultimately create the life that you desire and deserve. It's hot to romanticize your life, so grab a mocktail or your favorite cozy beverage and let's get into it. Hello and welcome to the official first episode of the Trophy Life podcast. I am so excited to be here, and I'm also really excited to be doing basically a video podcast, if you will. I have a hat on today, so you probably can't see my face too well. I've actually been obsessed with wearing baseball caps on days where my hair is like greasy, but it's not greasy enough to wash it, and I don't want to make the commitment of the wash day. You know what I mean? But I'm excited for today's episode because we're going to be talking about hot girl routines, specifically for fall and fall favorites. I feel like a hot girl routine is one of those things that's really looks so different for everybody. So I'm not going to tell you like do this exact thing because honestly that doesn't really do anything good for you because of how, again, unique and different everyone's life is. So I can give you some examples of in today's episode of like what works for me, what I think in general would set most people up for success for, just like things to do to start off your day well and things that have brought me success in my personal life and I think most people would benefit from, but also you can take everything with a grain of salt, of course. Um so funny how I'm like giving a disclaimer on something that's like so unserious, but like also is so serious to me at the same time because I like just swear by routines in the most serious but like unserious way, if that makes sense. Um, but before I get into the episode, I want to do a little intro at the beginning of every episode. So you'll see on the other ones what those are. But today is going to be 5 favorites of mine, just recent 5 favorites from I would say like the past few weeks. So they're products I know, maybe even months, because you can try something out for a week and then after that it's like, oh, I don't actually really love it, even though there can be fun in like a weekly fling with a product. So the first product on my list is the Summer Fridays Dream lip oil in shade Rosewood Nights. This lip oil is truly the most stunning shade for fall. It's like a dark, rich berry color. And I've been wearing it like nonstop. And my husband always compliments me every time I wear it. Not just him, I'm usually just around him. But anytime I ever see any of my girlfriends or family members, people are always like, what is that shade? And I'm like, the Summer Fridays lip oil. It is so good. And I also love the consistency of their lip oil because it's not too sticky. Some lip oils can just be like too much, too oil, not enough like lipstick products. So I really like that and would highly recommend it for a good fall lip color if you're looking for a good shade for fall specifically. And then my second favorite product, which I would say I got into this kind of in the springtime, and that's the Element electrolyte packets. These electrolytes are, I feel like I always see ads for them, but they actually really do live up to the hype. I think it's their watermelon flavor, and what's the other one I love? I honestly, have I only ever had their watermelon? No, raspberry. The raspberry salt is so good. And they have tons of different flavors for like whatever your flavor vibe is, but I really like them. And again, it's like so annoying to like have to worry about staying hydrated, getting enough electrolytes, getting your minerals in, like all those things, which makes it so much easier when it's just in a drink that tastes good. And I'm honestly someone who like only ever drinks water, milk, and orange juice. Like I don't drink soda, I don't drink any caffeine. And I mean, I can get down with Dr. Pepper, but I just don't want the high fructose corn syrup. You know what we need? We need Dr. Pepper with cane sugar. Where can I like sign a petition for that? Preferably without the caramel color too. Like sign me up for that. I'm definitely a wellness conscious girly, I guess we can say. And not just food, but also like beauty products, things I have in my home. And I'm very into that, very into the biohacking phase of life, if you will. Kind of have been for probably like 3 years now. But the third thing on my list, which this will we'll dive into this a little bit deeper with the episode for today, but it's mornings and morning walks without my phone. So 2 weeks ago, I was telling my husband, I was like, I am on my phone chronically and it's just too much. Like it's getting to the point where I feel like I'm almost like losing my agency as a human to my phone. And I was like, this is just like not chill because I feel like everyone who has social media can relate to going onto your phone and just doom scrolling and like not even consciously realizing that you're doing it. But when the first thing you do every morning is look at your phone, I heard this on an Andrew Huberman podcast. He said, your phone, but your brain craves that feeling and that dopamine that it gets every time you look at your phone. So whatever you give your brain in the morning, your brain's going to just crave it throughout the day. It's almost like the phone is like a cheap way for your brain to be feeling good about itself, which I'm like, I hate that. Like I want to feel challenged. I want to feel like motivated, ready to go. I want to be fulfilled every day. And all signs were leading to not needing to be on my phone in the morning. So 2 weeks ago, I decided that every night before I go to bed, I would shut my phone off completely and I would charge it before I would shut it off. So it was already like fully charged, ready to go for the next day. And I at first was putting it in my husband's nightstand. And then I was like, you know what? I need to like practice putting it in my own nightstand. So I put it in my nightstand, I shut the drawer, and when you're first starting out, you could even put it in a different room. You have to replace that habit with something else. That's like going on the walk for me was the thing that replaced my phone addiction. Again, we'll get kind of more into that. We'll come back to this in just a second, but it is something I am so insanely passionate about. So I'm really excited to talk about it. And then my fourth favorite right now, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this, is the Half Baked Harvest fall recipes for cooking and baking. I don't know why it took me so long to get into Half Baked Harvest recipes. When I tell you, I feel like my life has genuinely changed. The the recipes are so good. I've made cider braised short ribs, pumpkin chai snickerdoodles. I've made a ton of gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. Those I guess aren't fall. I made a pumpkin Alfredo with I did chicken with that. And then what else have I done? There's been a few other things that I've made, and I've just had such a fun time getting in the fall spirit with cooking and baking. And I truly feel like cooking and baking are those two of the things that are kind of intimidating and a little bit can be like a little overwhelming when you're first getting into them. But as soon as you get into it, it feels so rewarding and it can kind of almost change your life, like not to be dramatic, but also to be dramatic. Like it's truly so rewarding to cook meals for yourself, for your family, for your boyfriend, for your husband, your girlfriend, or your kids. Like it is the best feeling knowing that you're feeding yourself and those you love with nutritious foods and even like sweets. Like you can make such healthy food and like bake such healthy food options that, don't have all of these harsh ingredients that are in a lot of processed foods like um won't name any names, but like Oreos, for example. Just making like homemade Oreos or homemade cookies that maybe have like white chocolate chips and dark chocolate. I don't know. I think there's just so many fun ways to get into that creatively. And I feel like a lot of people think that they won't like baking or cooking, but if you actually give it a fair chance and you get fun with it and you cook or bake whatever makes you excited, like sourdough, I feel like is a really popular one, obviously, right now, but for good reason because you feel so fulfilled after you make that loaf. And even if you mess up, my cousin Daisy taught me this. She's like my sourdough fairy godmother, if you will. She's taught me everything I know about sourdough. But she always says, she's like, Tara, even if you mess up a loaf, it's still going to taste better than like any bread you could buy anywhere else because it's fresh bread. It's like you made it too. So I'm like, girl, you're so right. Like, why did it take me so long for something that truly is kind of really simple when you think about it? And then my fifth favorite currently is another makeup favorite, which I could do a full episode if you guys wanted on just makeup favorites because as you guys know, I'm on the Sephora squad and have been for 2 years, coming up on three, which is so exciting. And I get sent a lot of makeup PR from that. And then also just in general, posting content and stuff on social media. And I have tried pretty much, I would say, I can confidently say I've tried 90% of the products in Sephora. I wouldn't say fragrance and body lotions are probably the two I haven't, but makeup and skincare, which is pretty crazy when you think about it, especially makeup, probably even more so makeup. Maybe a little bit less with skincare because I'm always more timid, change up my skincare, which really doesn't make any sense because you're still putting makeup on your face. So I don't know why that's the case. Maybe because it just seems more harsh. But fifth product, the Hourglass Skin Tint. I have been using this skin tint for, let me think, I think since it came out. When did it launch? I think it launched, I saw Hailey Bieber post about it in, let's see, like June, I want to say, of 2023. I immediately bought it. I was like, I watched a YouTube video of hers, was sold, immediately bought it. And then I was like, okay, I get the hype. I get the vibes with the skin tint. I understand why it's so good. So my favorite thing to do is to actually mix it with the Beauty Blender skin tint. The Beauty Blender skin tint has a little bit of a fuller coverage. So the Hourglass is like truly glass skin, and it definitely is good enough 100% to use on its own. I just usually like a little bit more full coverage, probably because I'm always filming, and that's just one thing I prefer. But the best thing with the Hourglass, honestly, all their products, I love their stuff so much, is the Hourglass skin tint feels like you're wearing nothing on your skin, which I love how many makeup products have come out recently and just the innovation with makeup of how these brands are creating products that you it feels like you're wearing nothing on your face. It feels like you're almost just wearing like skincare. And yeah, Hourglass Skin Tint is that girl. By the way, I should call out that I always have all my favorites linked in my Shop My and my Amazon storefront. And everything is it's linked in the show notes, or if you're watching on YouTube, it's linked on YouTube. And yeah, I always keep that updated. My assistant Ella and I are always making sure that that's up to date for you guys because I love how many people are always on my Shop My. It's great. And there's truly so many great products on there. So I got my little trusty notebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, I got this from Home Goods. I mean, don't even get me started on how much I love Home Goods. That could also be a full episode in itself because I'm very passionate about that store, but they have the best notebooks and they're like always so affordable. I think I got this massive notebook. It's probably like a foot and a half long for, I don't know, probably like $7, I want to say. And I love it. And it's got like these cute little bookmarks that you can see. If you can't see, they're just like the little strings. If you're listening, they're just like cute little strings that you can put on the pages. Again, like a little bookmark. And I love it. So let's start off with hot girl morning routines. Kind of jumping into that. I truly think that a lot of your morning really sets the tone for that entire day, but then also the next day, and it can compound if you let it. Now, one thing I will say is one of my favorite books I've ever read is Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza, and also, what is it? It's like something, the power of something with yourself. I just forgot the name of it, but it's also by Joe Dispenza. If you look up, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. And those two books are so good and will help you be extremely self-aware, which I feel like is really important to do if you want to make improvements in your life, is you need to be self-aware and put in the work to be self-aware. And I think those books are incredible places to start if you are kind of new on the self-awareness journey. And I would say routines and really any place you want to improve your life goes really hand in hand with being self-aware. And getting into routines, I would say, kind of like I mentioned earlier, my 5 favorites is not being on your phone in the morning. I really think anybody can benefit from this. And I understand if like you're like, oh, my alarm clock's on my phone. I literally would tell you to get a $10 alarm clock from Walmart or Target. And I actually have the Hatch one and it's my favorite. I don't need an alarm clock because I wake up at the same time every single day, no matter when I go to sleep. But if you do need a alarm clock, the Hatch one is incredible. I also use that red light every night before I go to bed. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. And that one I would say is really great. Or even again, just getting like a digital one and putting the phone away, shutting off your phone, like I said, before going to sleep at night is just such a game changer. And I really think will help you to set yourself up for success for the entire day. I've never met somebody who has done this and it hasn't benefited them in more ways than one. So that's the first thing I would say. And that honestly, right then and there, is going to be such a great way for you to create other habits that will just like create a domino effect. And the rest of your day will just go so much more seamless. So after that, what I do is I go on a walk immediately and I get out in the sun. I do live in Utah and it's going to get cold here soon. It's actually like still 80 degrees outside and it's October 10th, which is kind of insane when I think about it. I'm like, oh, that's actually like so crazy that it's October and so warm outside. But getting outside in that sunshine, again, even if when it is cold, bundling up, doing whatever you have to do to get that morning light and get your brain just in that meditative state of right when you wake up, again, no technology, like no music, no nothing. I actually was just talking to my mother in law, and she was saying that going on a walk without any technology is similar to doing, I think it's MDR therapy, because your eyes are just going like back and forth when you're on a walk. And I was like, I do that every morning. And she was saying how beneficial it is for your brain and your emotional state and your nervous system. Like those things are truly so, so, so important to creating the trophy life, if you will, that you want and desire and deserve. So try that out. And if you do try any of these out, please let me know. DM me on Instagram, comment here on YouTube, leave me a comment on Instagram. Like if you say anything about the show, I will for sure pick up the vibes in anywhere you DM them. So I'm excited to hear, by the way, how you guys all think about everything or what you think about everything. The next thing I do is I like to do a workout post walk. I will say I have really been trying to be in tune with where I am in my cycle and doing workouts according to that. So, like for example, right now I just started my period today, but I actually feel really great when I'm on my period and I like lifting and going on walks and being active on my period. I don't have any period cramps because of a lot of the supplements that I take, which is insane coming from me because I used to be like in so much pain 24/7 from period cramps. So, if you guys have questions about that, we can definitely get into that in another episode, but it's the Her package from Heart and Soil has like changed my life with period cramps. So, I would say a cycle tracking for sure and doing a workout. And sometimes I will just go on a longer walk. Like if I'm in like my luteal phase and I'm like, girl, the last thing I can do right now is more than a walk, then I don't judge myself for that. And I will just walk for 20 or 30 minutes more. And it's great. And I love it. And it's all about just the consistency and also like not judging yourself, but holding yourself to a high standard. Because I think it can be a dangerous game of getting, it's always like keeping those two things in balance. And balance is obviously very hard and it's like a juggling act, if anything, even more than balance. But I think that it's really beneficial to just keep that in mind. And then after I do my workout is when I will turn my phone on sometimes. So if I'm washing my hair, I will always watch a YouTube video, listen to a podcast, listen to a book, even just jazz music to kind of like start my day off. I've actually been finding myself, if I like technology in the morning, it's only usually music, which doesn't really surprise me that that's like happened. It's almost because my body is, or my mind, my nervous system is like we've had pure silence and now you want like the YouTube video. It's just not the vibe. Which, if it is the vibe for you, that's great. I'm just telling you what I like and what works for me. So you can just take it again or leave it as you will. Especially if I have to film something too. I will say, like, sometimes I film Get Ready With Me's, so I have to have my phone, but I'll really try not to go on social media. And then I go downstairs after either sometimes I'll do my makeup before I make breakfast, sometimes after. It just depends. Sometimes if I'm really hungry after a workout, I'll even cook breakfast before I shower and stuff, and I won't go on my phone or anything like that because I try to eat within 40 minutes of my workout, especially if I weightlifted. That is a statistic specifically for women, is you want to eat within 40 minutes of your workouts so that it gives optimal muscle growth, and it's also good for it was a trainer on, I think it was Andrew Huberman's podcast again. They were saying how just cognitive function, muscle recovery, muscle growth, all those things, it's really important to eat within 40 minutes of working out. And I think it was also because you won't get as much from your workout. And I'm like, girl, I did not put in all that work to not get every benefit. So I will immediately be eating. I also should say I always have a banana or some sort of food before I do like heavy lifting, just because unless I'm really not hungry, but I usually am at that point, like after the walk and getting ready to lift. So that's also a great thing to do. And then my nighttime routine. So when it comes to nighttime routines, well, really morning routines too, you really just have to figure out and mess around and play with what works for you. And I feel like the overarching theme of everything here is to just romanticize your life. Like, romanticize your routines. Do whatever makes you excited to do it. It could be listening to jazz music, it could be red lights, it could be being in the sun, like really anything. It's just, oh my gosh, it's just the best. It's so good. Okay, so nighttime routine. I start off my nighttime routine really when I cook dinner. I love to cook dinner. Love it so much. Occasionally, of course, my husband and I like order Postmates. We'll eat in. And especially when like if I'm working late that night or if I'm just really craving something, it's like sure we'll do it. But I really try to only eat out once, twice a week, like max. I would say twice a week max. And we usually go out to dinner every Saturday night. So I like to intake a lot of food that I can make at home and fully control what's going into it. So I'll cook dinner for my husband and I. Sometimes I'll change into my sweats. Again, just like romanticizing and getting obsessed with the process of it, I think is just such a key in keeping something and creating something as a habit. Because everyone's going to have those things that make you excited and make you love, whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe it could be pouring yourself a mocktail or making a yummy drink, like just something that helps you romanticize cooking dinner. And I promise you, or turning on a movie, like Princess Diaries is so fun to cook to. I don't know what it is. Oh my gosh. Also, the fact that they're making a third movie, I could cry about that. I'm so excited about that. It's insane. Okay, so after I cook dinner, I usually every night will bake something. I love to bake. And like I was saying, fall things right now are so fun to bake. But even outside of fall things, it is just so fun to like have a little sweet treat in the evening. It is just the best. And it's something that you won't regret. My husband loves it. And I usually try to just make things that are healthy. And there's a recipe. It's from Half Baked Harvest and it's her gluten-free chocolate chip oatmeal cookies. You can look this recipe up on Google. It actually doesn't have like the best reviews, I feel like. But when I tell you, it is so good. If you like oatmeal chocolate chip, best oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. And the mix of like the hunks of chocolate with the chocolate chips is so good. Or just like chopping up actual chocolate. It's incredible. So if you need something yummy to bake and it's gluten-free, but you wouldn't know it's gluten-free, like my assistant is also gluten-free and she tried it and I was like, she's like, I'm not just saying this, but she's like, I would think this is too good to be gluten-free. And I'm like, girl, I know. It's so good. Like, it's such a good cookie. And then again, usually I've already got my cozy sweats on because we've made dinner. Like, I love changing into comfy clothes as soon as I'm done working. When I'm working, I always try to have like actual clothes on just because it helps when, if you work from home, I feel like you can relate to this. It's just so, it feels so good to like just get dressed, put yourself together. Even if you're in like athletic wear, just wearing something that's, again, a little bit more put together than a cute pajama set, even though we love a good matching set. And then after I'm done baking, we have to eat the treat in bed and watch our show. So my husband and I have been watching Sex and the City for the first time. Don't know why it took me so long to watch the show. I love it. It is just so fun. It's such a fun, girly show. And the writing in the show is actually it's so good. Like, it's incredible. And I feel like that's why my husband can tolerate it, because normally he does not like shows like that, which I don't blame him because they're usually very girl coded, but the writing is really good in Sex and the City. So if you need a good series to watch, a good one. Like, it's not like I love Gossip Girl, but Gossip Girl is very, I would say it's similar to Gilmore Girls, where it's very dramatic in a way that feels not attainable or not realistic, which is really fun, but it's just a different vibe from the writing style in Sex and the City. And then with the tree in bed, we have the Canopy Humidifier on. Canopy humidifiers are the most incredible humidifiers of my entire life. I am so obsessed with my Canopy humidifier. I think I'll try and get a discount code for you guys. If I do, I'll put it in the show notes or in the YouTube description, because this Canopy is the best, and I'm going to tell you why. So number one, it has like the best white noise as a humidifier. Some humidifiers are like too obnoxious and they're not zen. I feel like if you know, like, when you're sick as a kid, your mom puts that humidifier in your room and you're just like, how can I sleep with this blaring noise in my ears? This humidifier from Canopy is not like that at all. It is like so relaxing. I swear it helps me go to sleep, but it's also like a beauty hack because you are getting really great skin, especially if you live somewhere that's dry. But then you're also getting the benefits of the breathing. And my husband has a deviated septum, so it's great if you have a deviated septum because it can just help, again, your body get more oxygen while you're sleeping. And my favorite thing about the Canopy humidifier is it actually, you can also put in, they have like aromas that you can put into it. I've actually never done that because I'm so sensitive to smells. So I only have ever used it with the water, but it's also anti-mold and it's really easy to clean it. I think you can put it in the dishwasher. I've always hand washed mine, but now I'm pretty sure it's dishwasher safe. And it's the best non-toxic humidifier I've ever found. Like, I love it. I also love giving it as a gift. It's like not a super exciting gift. I guess it is for if you have like a kid. Like, I'm giving it to um my sister-in-law and my brother for their baby shower gift, because I'm like, this humidifier will change your life and your baby's life because it's just that good. It's incredible. And then I have my Hatch red light on. The Hatch alarm clock, like I was telling you about, they have a red light setting. So I have that on for 2 hours when I am in bed every night. And Andrew Huberman also said this with red lights. It's good to have red light on while you have another stimulation like a TV or something like that on at night. I know that TVs are not great to have on at night, but it's my husband's and I's time to watch our show together, hang out together. Like, we have to watch our show in bed. So I turn on the red light, and apparently it's supposed to be good for like helping to balance your circadian rhythm. And it's better to have two lights on basically than just one blaring light. So I feel like that makes sense when you actually think about it. But neurologically, that's what he was like explaining, that there's science that backs that. So I don't have the sources, but I'm sure if you listen to his podcast, you would get the same info. I'm just breaking it down and making Andrew Huberman a little bit more girl coded, if you will. So the next thing I do is I don't have any blue light besides the TV. So I put my phone on the mode where it's like the yellow screen. My phone just auto goes to that every night. And then if I have to be on like my laptop for some reason in bed, Same thing with that. I will turn it on to night mode and I make my husband do the same thing. I'm like, just don't touch it. We usually aren't on our phones, honestly, when we're like watching a show in bed, but occasionally I'll like, again, have work to do really quickly, or maybe I'm finishing like editing something. I guess that's the same thing. And so, again, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And then after we're done with our show, fully unplugging my phone once it's charged. I'll usually let my phone charge up while we're watching the show. By the time the show's over, usually my phone's like fully charged. So I'll put it in my nightstand or my husband's nightstand. Like I was saying, if I'm like really feeling like, oh, I'm addicted to my phone and I'm like struggling, I'll put it in another room, or I'll even put it, I'm in my basement right now. I will literally bring it all the way down to my basement because I want to set myself up for success. And it's worth it to me to do that when I'm like have more energy versus when I'm like so tired in the morning and I can't control, or I feel like, even though I can control, I feel like I can't control the fact that I really want to be on my phone, which I know this is like probably so sad, but I feel like, again, I'm just so self aware and I know myself and I know my downfalls and I have to avoid those downfalls like the plague so that I can set myself up for success. And you know what? All the hot girlies do that. Okay. All the hot girlies are very self aware. So, and if you're not, it's never too late to start. So never say never. Justin Bieber. Dude, the Beliebers? No. Also, the fact that he has a child now? Obsessed. Well, that is pretty much the end of my routine. I guess I did forget two things that I also do in the morning is I meditate, and sauna sessions are also incredible. We have a home gym and so we have a sauna in there, and I am obsessed with infrared saunas. I'll usually do that after my workout. It just depends on how long my workout is. I don't like to take more than an hour out of my day for a workout and a sauna session. So I'll do that and then I'll meditate either while I'm in the sauna session or just like a quick 10-minute after. I usually do it while I'm in there because I like to like almost like habit stack the things that I'm doing. And then I'll usually like read my scriptures, pray. Sometimes it depends. Sometimes I do it in the morning, sometimes it's in the evening. Sometimes I forget, but I always try. I always have the attitude, I guess, of trying to do it and always trying my best. But, you know, a girl has got to do what a girl's got to do. I also just remembered that I forgot to do my life updates for you guys. So I normally would do it at the beginning of the episode, but today we'll do it at the end. I mean, it's the first episode, so today's kind of like a little guinea pig for me, if you know what I mean. Last life update that I will say that's I'm really excited about. This one's kind of more fun and silly, but my husband and I bought a home last year, last August. We bought our first home, and I decorated my porch for fall for the first time this year. And I didn't really decorate it last year because we had just like moved in and I was like, this is too much. Like I was doing some renovations, like painting our front door, where it just like did not work out for me to decorate the front porch. But I decorated our front porch this year and I love how it turned out. I posted about it on my Instagram stories and I just did like a bunch of pumpkins on like our steps leading up to our front door. I did like some mums on like by like these pillars that we have on our front porch, and it just turned out so cute. I think it was Trader Joe's or Smith's. Smith's is like Ralph's and Safeway, if depending on where you live. I think it's only a West Coast thing, but or a Midwest, I don't know. No, Mountain West thing. But I got it's like a witch's broom, but it smells like cinnamon apples. So I have a cinnamon apple one, and then I also have, or no, maybe it's a cinnamon apple. I can't remember, but I have two different broomsticks. Oh, one is pumpkin spice and then one's cinnamon apple. So I put one by my front door, one's by my fireplace in my living room. So it just smells like fall everywhere the second you enter the area of my front door, you smell fall, and then you walk in and it still smells like fall. And you got the fall candles burning, like just such good vibes. So that's been very fun to have. And I'm really excited for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and I'm just so excited for the holiday season. I cannot wait. My husband and I are going to be renovating our kitchen. but we want to wait until after the holidays, which I'm glad that we made that decision because it's just too chaotic to be renovating your home during the best time of the year. So, yeah, I loved today's episode so much. And let me know what you guys think about the routines. And if you'll be incorporating anything, let me know how it goes. I really want to hear from you. Again, I love people so much and I want to hear what's going on in your life, what's the vibes. I kind of want to do a section on my podcast where I like answer your questions. I'm still trying to figure out how that is going to go, but I do want something like that to come because I want to know what's happening in your life. I want to know what's going on, or if you have questions, we can answer them. Just diving into all the fun girly things. So, thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of Trophy Life podcast. And I'm excited. Let's get out there, romanticize our lives, and I hope you have the best rest of your day. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. If you enjoyed it, make sure to join the Trophy Life Club. It's a free community for the girls by yours truly, and it's on Instagram. It's just at Trophy Life Club. You can also follow me at Tara Kelly Smith on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If you have an extra minute, I would also love and super appreciate if you would review the podcast. This will just help us reach more women who could use a little TLC, aka Trophy Life Club, in their life. So I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.